course, a story that we've talked about many times over the last few months, which is that of abductions, especially following the finance bill protest and the ensuing protest that followed for the few weeks. And there were three men who had been missing for over 30 days. One of them was, of course, Bob and Njagi, and then the Longton brothers, Aslam and Jamil Longton, who were all released last month, but we were all glad that they were found alive. None of them has spoken out publicly since their release, except Bob Njagi, who spoke to press yesterday, after police scuttled his first attempt at having a press conference, and they had to find a second venue. First of all, I applaud the bravery of all of them. Even the Longton brothers, they did give small briefs, even though they didn't have like a proper press conference. And of course, Bob as well, for coming out and speaking about what happened to them while they were being held.
And of course, as we do that, the police always give instructions, allegedly, after the abductions. They abduct people who have been the victims in this case, often are given instruction not to speak to anyone about any incident that happened. But of course, there's been a lot of things that have been happening. And of course, during the Gen Z-led protests, we saw so many abductions, detentions, and of course, violence that was used against different people. According to the Kenya National Commission of Human Rights, it reported various statistics related to human rights violation during the protest, including the instances of abduction. Specific numbers may vary, but KNHCR documents clearly show that there were abductions. A good number of people were abducted and others detained. And of course, violence or police brutality was a clear measure as seen during the protests.
That's right. We've also seen loss of life, which was the fear when Bob Njagi went missing, as well as the Longton brothers. Now, his woes started on August 18th when he was called by Safina Party leader Jimmy Wanjigi to accompany him because he was going to present himself to the police. Soon after that, on his way home from that engagement, the matatu he was in was boarded by 4 men in hooded masks who started shouting that huyo kona bunduki. And then they took him out of the matatu to an undisclosed location, kept him naked without any food for 2 days, receiving beatings. And then after that, it was 30 days of just consistent either assault or interrogation, being fed on barely anything.
I'm looking at this incident and I'm saying it could have happened to anyone. And of course, sometimes your affiliations and associations could land you in problems. Sorry, because we've seen Wanjigi's house always being monitored, and at least for him, he has the kind of money that allows you to protect yourself even inwardly. You remember just a few years ago, the police officers were trying to break down his door, and it took
Not even a few years ago, even last month when they tried to get to his house, he said, "You won't find me in this house."
And he was in that house.
And he was in the house. That's very true. So you're right. It is very unfortunate that this is still the case. Also, the fact that from the executive, everyone is silent about abductions. DP Gachagua, while defending himself, basically admitted to the fact that abductions do happen, but the president is still,
it's contrary to what
there are no abductions that he knows of, and they still continue to happen. They are still being used as a tool against political dissent.
Just most recently, activist Boniface Mwangi had posted something on his feed, and he was talking about how there was a daylight abduction that happened most recently of a gentleman called Rono, and he was released, yes, but of course it's something that we need not see in this day and time, because how does a vehicle just stop in the middle of the road, pick someone with hooded men, not even hooded men, nowadays they're not even afraid, it's just men without masks, and they carry you out of your space, and you disappear for a couple of hours or even days. Juzi tumeona Morara, ndio he was actually arrested, but if it was not for video technology, then maybe something bad would have happened.